Baltimore Ravens, what happened? How do you lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars? William Trevor Lawrence has officially arrived, and he's ascending before your very eyes into a generational franchise quarterback. If anybody got a problem with that, y'all come see me. Big trust. Woo woo. We bout that. Like I say, y'all got a problem with that, y'all come see me. Man, roll the tape.
If anybody else got to say something different about that, then come see me. I'm right here in Bmore outside the bank. If you got an issue with that, come see me. I'm about that. Big trust. Woo woo. Lamar Jackson in the flesh. Yes, sir.
Jaguar fans, I want to say first and foremost, man, happy Victory Monday. Never take it for granted. Let's enjoy this Victory Monday. Let's enjoy the rest of this week, man. The Jaguars are coming off an impressive 28-27 victory Sunday afternoon over the Baltimore Ravens, who are one of the perennial top teams in the AFC every single year. And we just beat a former league MVP in Lamar Jackson, one of the best explosive up-and-coming players in the game. And I mean, Lamar Jackson's already made his, footprint on the NFL game in terms of the record books. Jaguar fans, let's not take this Victory Monday for granted. Like I do for every recap video, I'm always going to talk about the opponent first, and that's going to come with the Baltimore Ravens. And let me say with the Baltimore Ravens, they honestly, I think, outplayed the Jaguars for a big and huge majority of the game, but they still ended up not winning this game. Basically, the story of the season for the Jaguars in a lot of ways, where the Jaguars were in a lot of games. The Jaguars looked like they were the better team every single week, but somehow, some way, they still found a way to lose the game. That was the Ravens this week. The Ravens today were 8 of 14 on third down efficiency, which is amazing work by Greg Roman, John Harbaugh, and the rest of that offense. They got Gus Edwards back this week, who'd been a little bit banged up. He came in and made some solid contributions in the rushing department, and the Baltimore Ravens had 162 yards on the ground this week, which was honestly about average for them, but they did a great job there. Baltimore Ravens averaged 6.1 yards per play. They did lose the turnover battle 2-1, but the Baltimore Ravens honestly could have had a third turnover had Chad Muma's leg not been out of bounds on that first play, or I guess I should say on that first drive, where the Jaguars recovered after Mark Andrews had that fumble and Baltimore was able to get the ball back. Offensively, I think that Lamar Jackson did a lot of great things considering the circumstances that were there for him. He didn't really get all that much help offensively, but Lamar Jackson still did his thing. 16 of 32, 254 yards, 1 touchdown in the air, and then rushing, we all know the type of player that Lamar Jackson is, the best rushing quarterback in the NFL. 14 carries for 89 yards. Gus Edwards on the ground, 16 carries for 52 yards. And then in the receiving department, I mean, you want to talk about Josh Oliver kind of having a little bit of a revenge game. Jaguars former third-round pick out of 2019 from San Diego State or San Jose State. I actually believe it was San Jose State. Josh Oliver, 4 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. Deshaun Jackson, 2 catches for 74 yards, and he had that 62-yard bomb in the fourth quarter that set up Josh Oliver so that the Ravens could go ahead and get that touchdown to extend their lead. Mark Andrews, 4 catches for 50 yards. The Baltimore Ravens did a pretty good job. They were moving the ball really well. They had over 400 yards of total offense, 415 to be exact. But when it came down to it the most, they couldn't convert in the red zone. And yeah, they have one of the best kickers in NFL history. Wasn't good enough from 67 today, and thankfully, but the Baltimore Ravens, I thought, did a pretty good job overall. They looked honestly like the better team for a big and huge majority of the game. And then defensively for the Baltimore Ravens, Marcus Peters was just absolutely horrendous. He got cooked all afternoon, and that's really been indicative of the type of season that he's had. I know that he's not been playing very well at all this season, and I know a lot of fans want him gone, and it was clearly on display this past week when he was just absolutely cooked out there. Marlon Humphrey, I know he got banged up a little bit, so I hope that he's okay. And then lastly, when it comes to the Ravens defense, man, I got to give a huge love and shout out to Calais Campbell, man, the actual mayor of Jacksonville, the mayor of Saxonville. Calais Campbell, man, me and Jaguar fans and the entire community, man, we got nothing but love for you. I hope that you retire a Jaguar one day. You embrace the city, we embraced you, and everything that he's done, man, and, just really done for the team, the city, and the culture. We love Calais Campbell, man. I got to give you a huge shout out. But let's actually talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars and the team that actually won this game. So I want to start with the Jaguars defense, and I want to say that while the Jaguars did not, I guess, necessarily do a phenomenal job defensively, they did what they needed to do when it mattered the most in order to make the stops to put the Jaguars in a position to at least have an opportunity to go and win the game. And I got to credit the defense for that. Mike Caldwell, I think, did a lot of things that still needed to get some work done. Schematically, I don't like the way he really game planned for a guy like Lamar Jackson, but regardless, they held him to 27 points. This is a perennial explosive offense, especially in the rushing department. and the Jaguars did a good job there. Like I said, they could have had 3 turnovers defensively taken away, but they ended up having 2, and that's fine. Shout out to Andrew Wingard for getting that fumble recovery, and shout out to, I think it was Rayshawn Jenkins earlier in the game, prior to Chad Muma not having that fumble recovery. The Jaguars defensively did what they needed to do. They limited Lamar Jackson in this offense, and they put the Jaguars in an opportunity where while they had a deficit, it was still attainable and it was still reachable for the Jaguars to come back, even when they were down 2 possessions, 19-10. Going into the fourth quarter, the Jaguars defense held, and they bent but they didn't break. And that's the most important thing. Got to give some love there to the Jaguars defense for showing up and stepping out. Foyce Oluokun had a great game. Andrew Wingard came in and made some huge plays. Put Rayshawn Jenkins in the Pro Bowl, man. I've said nothing but great things about him all year. Truly love what he's done and the energy that he's brought. And then a guy like Tyson Campbell consistently being a great lockdown corner, man. There's a lot of great guys that flashed out there defensively today, but I got to give some love and praise to those guys. But let's flip it to the offensive side of the ball, man, because Dougie Peterson, big play Zay Jones, and William Trevor Lawrence, aka Mr. Sunshine himself. All of these guys went out there and absolutely balled out today, man. Let me say first and foremost also with the Jaguars offense, Travis Etienne. I know he didn't sustain a huge foot injury. They held him out the rest of the game after he was medically cleared to come back into the game. But Travis Etienne, man, love you, bro. Hope you're all good for next week, man. We need you out there. Travis Etienne's an explosive player, man. So just, hope that you're good, because all the reports say that you're good. But when we talk about the Jaguars offense, man, huge shout out, man, to Doug Peterson for being gutsy, for being an aggressive coach, and we've seen that from him all season. Being, aggressive on 4th downs, going for the 2-point conversion to win the game, and just really having trust in this offense and this team and what he's done to, put the Jaguars in a position to be successful and to also be competitive in every game. You got to give a credit and a huge shout out to Dougie Peterson, man, for consistently having belief in Trevor Lawrence and in this team. But William Trevor Lawrence today, man, probably the best game of his young career. 29 of 37, 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and had a quarterback rating of 129.8. JaMycal Hasty came in there and was a solid and productive running back for the Jaguars today after Etienne went down. In the rushing department, he had 12 carries for 28 yards. And then in the receiving department, JaMycal Hasty chipped in as well too, 5 catches for 67 yards, and he had that first touchdown of the game. And then big play Zay Jones himself, man, 11 catches, 145 yards, and the game-winning 2-point conversion, man. You can't say enough about Zay Jones, man. The way that he's able to get off the line of scrimmage, find the soft spot in these zones, and he's just consistently there, and he's been a reliable target for Trevor Lawrence this season, and he's on a relatively cheap contract. 3 years, $30 million, $24 million guaranteed. Zay Jones has came in and been a productive receiver for the Jaguars this year. Great locker room guy. I love his attitude, and he's just been a great addition for this Jaguars team and for a young quarterback like William Trevor Lawrence himself. JaMycal Hasty, like I said, got involved in the receiving game. Christian Kirk, 4 catches for 46 yards. Mr. Reliable, Jones himself, Marvin Jones Jr., 3 catches for 22 yards, and the game-winning touchdown, man. Got nothing but love for the veteran and the dog that a guy like Marvin Jones is. And then also I got to give some love to my personal guy, Jamal Agnew, because look, man, I love Jamal Agnew. Me and all my homies, we love Jamal Agnew, man. 5 catches for 37 yards, including that touchdown as well, too. Good things happen when you give the ball to your explosive playmakers, aka guys like Travis Etienne and Jamal Agnew, who are absolutely explosive on this offense, man. Every time Jamal Agnew gets the ball, whether it's on special teams or on offense, you see the potential and you see that home run hit ability. He's extremely explosive, and good things happen when you get him the ball, man. Got nothing but love for Jamal Agnew, man. Got nothing but love for what this team did. The Jaguars this season have been in positions to win games and to have the opportunity to go down the field and win the game, and they were a yard short versus the Giants. That was just one example. But this time the Jaguars were able to capitalize. You see the